Welcome back to the 30-day beginner yoga challenge. We are going to focus on forward folds and stretching out the backs of our legs today. So we are going to start off lying down on our backs with legs extended out straight. So roll yourself down, make yourself comfortable, extend your legs, take your hands down by your sides, and then we're just going to lie here focusing on the breath for a moment before we get moving. So feel the breath come in and out of your body. As you exhale, feel everything relax. Take about 5 mindful rounds of breath. Just breathing in and out, slowly, deeply, big full breaths. Make that your final one here, and then start to bend your knees, place your feet flat on the floor, and we're going to come into our bridge pose. So tuck the hips under, walk your feet in so you can just touch the backs of your heels, engage the core, inhale, we're going to roll slowly up on the inhale, and then roll back down on the exhale. And then inhale, rolling back up. Exhale, rolling back down. So just warming up the spine, warming up the legs a little. Do one more each way. And then hug the knees into the chest. Rock from side to side. Take your feet flat onto the floor. Extend your right leg up into the air. Hold behind the back of your thigh and flex your foot. Gently stretch out the back of your right leg. Kick your heel up into the air, push your heel up away from the rest of the body. And then on the exhale, release. Extend your left leg up, hold behind the back of your leg, flex your foot, extend up through the back of the leg, push your heel up to the air, toes pointing back behind you. And then exhale, slowly lower back down. We're going to roll onto one side, push ourselves up into the seated position. Extend your legs out in front of you, and we're going to do a seated forward fold. So feet flexed, sit tall, move your thighs apart. So kind of pull the thighs out from under you, and then you should feel your 2 sit bones push down. Flex your feet so your legs are active. You're pulling the front of the legs up, and then you're extending the back of the legs away from you. Take your hands down, one on each side of your hips. Push firmly down to the floor. Extend your spine up, so sitting tall and upright. Keep your legs active. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, hinge forwards. Lead with your chest. Imagine your chest is being pulled forwards. And then when you can't go any further like that, take your hands to wherever their position is going to be. So maybe they're on the feet, maybe they're on the legs, maybe the ankles. And then release your head. But keep that forward action the whole time. So with our forward folds, the aim isn't to get our head down to our legs. It's not to fold ourselves in half. The aim is to increase the flexibility on the backs of the legs, extending those muscles there. And it's to stretch out the lower back. So rounding your upper back is not going to benefit you too much. So there's no point really doing something like this where you try and get your head down to your knees, but all you're doing is just exaggerating that curve in your upper back. We're trying to keep the chest open, and we're trying to lengthen our lower back. So holding there. Imagine you're not trying to get to your knees, you're trying to get beyond your feet. So you're trying to shoot your chest past your feet. Slowly release. Roll yourself back up, roll the shoulders back. Take yourself onto hands and knees. We'll do a few cat-cows. So we inhale, cow pose, tailbone lifts, chest comes forwards, look forwards. Exhale, cat, round your back, scoop your tummy up. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. We'll do one more each way. Big breath in and out. And then we're going to come into our downward facing dog. So tuck your toes, fingers spread nice and wide, lifting up and back, pedal out through your feet. So loosening up the backs of the legs. And then we're going to walk our feet forwards. Come into a forward fold, soft bend in your knees so the lower back can stretch. The torso can just rest over the legs. And then spine roll slowly up. So do a really slow spine roll, almost like you're going in slow motion. Slow it down as much as you can. Head coming up last, big shoulder roll. And then we're going to inhale, stretch up from the feet. So feet push down, everything pulling up. Stretch your arms up and back, and then it's that same idea. So we're going to hinge forwards. We're going to keep our chest open, keep the legs engaged, keep pulling up, come halfway, and then extend through your arms. So keep your legs active. You can have a soft bend in your knees. So kind of like flat back pose from our sun salutations, but with arms stretching out. Take a few deep breaths here. Keep your legs nice and strong. And then exhale, see if you can go a little further, keeping that length and that action. And then just go as far as you comfortably can. And then rest your hands either to your feet, to your legs, around the backs of the legs, whatever works best for you. So be mindful of your knees. Make sure you don't lock them out, especially if you are more flexible and maybe you have some hypermobility in your joints. You want to be really mindful that you don't lock out and overstretch there. We don't want to stretch the back of our knees. We want to stretch our calves and our hamstrings. So release your head. Shift your weight forwards into the balls of your feet. Hips coming up over the heels. You should feel like you're almost kind of tilting forwards. Like maybe you're just about to lose your balance, but then you ease off a tiny bit. Head relaxed down. So shake your head. Nod your head, make sure your jaw is relaxed, your face is relaxed. And then rest your head and your neck and shoulders. I'm going to roll slowly back up again. So spine roll up, big bend in your knees. Slowly spine roll up to stand. Come up slow, take a few deep breaths. So when we do our standing forward folds, our head is going to be below our heart. So if you come up too quickly, that's when you get that kind of head rush feeling. So be mindful of that, come up slowly. If you have high or low blood pressure, don't hold your forward folds for too long and make sure you come up really slowly, maybe hold on to something as you come up. So we're going to come down in the same way and then we're going to come up with a flat back. So ground your feet down, push them down to the floor, stretch up through the legs, inhale, lift the arms, exhale, hinge forwards, lead with your chest, flat back. Pause there, just make sure you've still got that flat action going on. And then exhale all the way down, release the head. Tiny, tiny bend in your knees so they don't lock out, hips coming up over heels. If you are more flexible and you can take your hands to the floor, maybe you'd like to increase your stretch, you can take your hand under your foot. So you're going to take the palm of your hand onto the sole of your foot, lift up onto the heel, just to tilt the foot up a little bit, change the angle there, and increase the stretch. So totally optional. If you feel that that's going to overstretch or you feel like that's going to hurt your hands, then you don't need to. So with forward folding, the aim is to feel that stretch. It's to work with where you are at the moment and just increase your flexibility. It's not to compare with others. It's not to try to make your body look a particular way. It's just to increase your mobility, to make things more comfortable for you. So release your hands if they were under your feet. We're going to step back to downward facing dog again. So feet flat. So hands flat on the floor, walk your feet back. Slide your shoulder blades down the back. Squeeze the upper arms together, squeeze the legs. Notice how your legs feel. Maybe the heels can go a little closer to the floor. Take a few deep breaths. Look up to your hands, walk your feet back up again. We're going to come up with our flat back. So find your forward fold, engage the legs, squeeze up, and then stretch through the arms, soft bend in your knees, come up with your flat back. Go backwards into a mini back bend, and then back to your mountain pose. Roll your shoulders back. So one more standing forward fold variation. We're going to do a wide leg forward fold. Step your right leg back. So you're now lengthways on your mat. Feet parallel, so toes are pointing towards that long edge of your mat. Tuck your hips under. Push down through the outside edge of your feet and then push your soles firmly down to the floor. Lift up through the legs. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, it's exactly the same. Tilt forwards, stretch forwards. Maybe pause there. Pull up through the backs of the legs. Make sure your knees don't lock out, so tiny bend in the knees if you need it. And then fold all the way down. So a few options here. Hands might reach the floor, in which case hands to the floor. If your hands do not reach the floor, then you're going to take your hands onto your thighs and just going to come into this position. So you're tilting forwards, maybe hands to hips and tilting there. Hands on the legs kind of help support you a little bit, particularly if you're feeling it quite strongly in the backs of the legs. If your hands are down to the floor, then maybe you can heel toe your feet a little further. Maybe you can hinge a little deeper at the hips. And maybe you could get your head to the floor. So mine isn't quite there yet. I could put a few props here. I could put some yoga blocks or a stack of books or something and rest my head there. But I'm just going to let it hang for the moment. Look down to the floor. Walk your hands in. Heel toe your feet together so they're about shoulder distance. And then come up with a flat back. So sweep yourself up. And then take your hands down to your sides. So back up at the front edge of the mat. Inhale, arms lift up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step back to downward facing dog. Take a breath. Come down onto your hands and your knees. And then we're going to do tiger pose for a balance. So we're just going to add in a little bit of stability after doing lots of stretching. So we're going to extend the right leg back in line with the body. And then maybe extend the left leg. Take a few deep breaths here. Either keep extending out or see if you can bend your knee. If you could do your bow pose, then see if you can find your foot back behind you, lift up the knee and come into this variation here where you've got your arm coming back behind you, hand holding onto opposite foot, knee lifting up and then release. Stretch out, come back to hands and knees, extend the left leg back behind you. So you've got the option to just do the leg, or you've got the option to have the arm and the leg extended. Hold there for a breath or two. And then you've got the option to reach round, find your foot, lift your knee, open your chest, and hold there. Find a spot to look at. Focus there, that's going to help you keep your balance. Slowly release, extend, back to hands and knees, and then come into child's pose. So big toes together, knees apart, sit yourself down to your heels, fold yourself over. Take a few deep breaths here. Slowly roll yourself up. And then we've got one more variation to do. So you're going to take your legs out in front of you and come into a wide straddle position with your legs. Thighs back behind you, so sit bones are on the floor. Flex your feet and then bend your left leg. Take the sole of your foot onto the inside of your right thigh. We're going to do a twist before we do our stretch. So we're going to inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist around to your left, left arm coming behind you, roll your shoulder back, right hand coming across onto the opposite knee, and then keep yourself twisted out that way. We're going to fold sideways over our extended leg. So you're going to take your right hand, take the back of the hand onto the inside of your leg. Inhale, stretch your left arm up into the air. Keep your chest facing out that way. And then on the exhale, kind of tilt sideways at the waist. And then slide your bottom hand towards the heel. Take your top arm up overhead as if it's getting down towards the toes. So those that are more flexible may be able to fold all the way and get the side of their chest onto the top of their leg and get this hand all the way over and touch the toes. But the key thing is to keep that openness in your chest. So I'll give a little demonstration of what not to do. So I could reach my toes if I do this, but then I've lost all that openness and I've lost that stretch here, which is what I'm aiming for. So it's better for me to have my hand all the way up here, but then I'm feeling it on the side of my waist, I'm feeling it on the side of my chest, which is what I'm looking for. Take your gaze upwards, roll your top shoulder back. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, release. And then we switch the legs over. So wide straddle, and then the right foot onto your inner thigh. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, twist yourself around to your right. Right arm coming behind you. Look over your right shoulder. Keep facing out to the right. Take your left arm onto the inside of your left leg, and then inhale, stretch your right arm up. Exhale, slide your bottom hand down towards the foot, take your top arm overhead, making a big kind of rainbow shape from the foot all the way over, down the arm, down the side of your chest and your waist. Roll your top shoulder back, take your gaze upwards. Keep both sides of your waist long. Big deep breath. Make sure your chest is facing out and hasn't rounded down. And then inhale, back up. Exhale, release. Bring your legs together into a cross-legged position. Sit yourself tall and upright. Roll your shoulders back. Take a few deep breaths. Slow everything down. Focus on the legs relaxing. Focus on your spine being tall and upright. Focus on your shoulders relaxing down away from your head. Drop your head over to your right shoulder. Let your head hang heavy as both shoulders stay down and relaxed. And then take your head over to your left shoulder, let it hang heavy. Coming back to the centre, drop your chin to your chest, slowly open your eyes. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up, lift your gaze, lift your chest. Exhale, hands to your chest to finish. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope your legs are feeling a little bit looser. Tomorrow we are going to focus on Warrior 3. So it's a balancing posture. It's going to use a lot of leg strength, core stability, balance and hip stability. So I hope you will join me tomorrow. Bye.